like Phil.
So we're switching over. I think you have.
Yes, you got it right.
We have Phil on the right. Charles will be on the left. Phil playing ninjas, and Charles will be playing bug. I would expect the bug list is going to have that guy Leovold. He's to prevent your opponent from
That
drawing
guy.
cards, which
Seems bad for ninjas.
it's actually it's bad for Ingenious Infiltrator, but not as bad for Yuriko the
Oh
Tiger's
yeah, because
Claw,
it just reveals.
Right, because you don't actually draw the card.
Hot.
I'm sure he's also going to have that thing, Collector Oof. Who knows what else? Tarmogoyf? Could be anything.
There would be some number of cards
what,
adding up to
what,
60.
Yeah, what things do you like that are blue and or green and or black? Like, there's lots of stuff.
Bruises?
There you go, bruises. Jeff likes bruises.
Hey, don't judge. Don't kink shame.
We're not. It's all good.
Oh, how's the Hazard Life hit?
I'm good.
Delicious?
I recommend it.
Try it into 2 pieces of pizza. It's delicious.
Let's see. We're going to do a change of plans.
What?
Change of plans. Charles Volko versus.
Oh, you just getting the text now?
He's tweeting.
I'm updating the Twitter.
I was like, wait, what? Change of plans? We just move the one feature to the other feature.
Oops, Quan, not Kion, Quan.
I hope that's not. I hope that's not Malort. That looks kind of like Malort.
It's Malort. Yes.
What do we want to say about this?
People like Listerine, and this tastes like Listerine and erasers.
Tire of fire. Hi.
Who introduced Malort to Team Serious?
Hi, friends. We have a lot of Chicago people.
Yeah.
We have Ben Perry, who loves Malort.
Yes.
Ben Perry likes gross things, and he
but
got.
it's grapefruit, technically, and he loves grapefruit.
Is
But
it?
Technically, yes.
It doesn't taste like grapefruit.
Yeah, a little bit. Ideally, you drink so much that it doesn't matter.
Is it still grapefruit based if you just like put a teaspoon of grapefruit in like a gallon of turpentine?
Could be.
Ooh.
I mean, there's still grapefruit in it, right? I didn't say grapefruit based. If you had to pick something,
it is very bitter, and it kind
I'm
of
worried
tastes
about the
like
fact that you came in here holding that.
I did. I'm expressing empathy. I can't expect a bunch of people to do shots of Malort and not do them myself. And also, I'm not Ben Perry where I actually enjoy it, but I'm somewhat immunized to it. We're like, whatever. I'll do shots of Malort and not feel bad.
I won't.
So,
Yes.
they've got their hands and stuff. Whenever you guys are ready to swap to them, we'll do that, and then
We already have.
We already are.
They're already live.
Okay, I'll have them do their shots, and then we're good to go.
They don't even have to do shots.
They don't have to do shots.
Tell Philly doesn't have to do a shot.
We don't peer pressure.
It's rude.
What?
It's rude and obnoxious. Anyway. So on your left, Charles Rolko playing Bug. On your right, Phil Kwan playing Ninjas. They are the 3 and 6 seeds from the top 8 of the Hazard Series Invitational live from Columbus, Ohio.
So Bug really well positioned right now. A?
Bug the deck or Bug
Yeah.
in this matchup?
Bug the deck.
In this matchup?
In the wider meta game.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I mean,
What caused it to become the point that it is?
I think when Karn and Mystic Forge were around, it kind of became a new hotness because it seemed to have good answers to those. So Karn and Mystic Forge being the best deck kind of got met by Bug being a better deck, being an answer deck. Yeah, so it had Force of Vigor and Collector Oof and obviously Force of Will and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
So it got played then and sort of fell out of favor after Karn and Mystic Forge got restricted, but I think it sort of gets picked up again just because it's like, oh hey, remember that was still a pretty good collection of answer cards and counter spells and whatever else.
Have we ever talked about Bug before on Serious Vintage?
I think we've talked about it like once maybe.
Yeah, okay.
It was a weird time.
Yeah.
I played Trigon once.
And I think the thing with Bug is that it does not hold up very well against some of the Jeskai decks, especially with like Dreadhorde Arcanist, where it's like all they do is recur removal spells. So
Okay.
Bug kind of relies on having some lockdown sort of creatures in play, Collector Oof and Leovold, and just gets kind of trounced by lightning bolts.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Moving cards around, counting. I don't know what's going on. We're picking up cards at some point.
We've been drinking.
Phil, I don't think has been. Anyway, okay, so Charles is going to mulligan. Phil is going to keep 7. And think about this little urine sample.
No, that's a
Phil, no.
He didn't. He didn't. Fake him out.
Oh.
Oh.
So if you're unfamiliar with Malort, it is an herbal.
Just Google it.
It's just Google it. I recommend following their Twitter account, honestly. It's an herbal liqueur from the popular in the Chicago area, and
Is it popular?
I think it's notorious. In the Chicago area.
Yes,
Infamous.
that may be better.
It kind of tastes like bitter erasers. It's not pleasant. You don't drink it for fun.
Yeah, it's sort of a joke. Like
It's
there's
a
definitely
meme drink.
there's definitely a thing of like, oh, let's do shots of Malort. And
no.
then I'm gonna video you while you take this shot.
That's actually a thing.
Malort face is a thing on Google if you Google it. Their advertisements are really funny.
Yeah.
Like they know what they are.
Malort, maybe tonight's the night you fight your dad.
I don't think it's maybe. I think it's tonight is the night you fight your dad.
But why are they doing this? I don't know. It's tradition. That's a good reason for things.
Yeah, it's I can't comment. I don't do it. I have.
I have done it a few times and have since stopped because I don't care that much.
Once on Mike Note.
I feel the same way about Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, the same. I would rather drink plain Jaeger than the Jaeger bomb, but I don't want any of it. That's all right. Anyway, Charles Rokel leading with Verdant Catacombs and Deathrite Shaman.
That seems like a pretty typical Bug opening.
That's a very Bug play, huh? Phil Kwan, swamp? Snow-covered swamp?
Yes.
Do you think he uses the snow-covered, or he likes just
and
snow-covered?
Baleful Strix. We're drawing cards, we're having Death Touch and flying. Let's do it. Charles does have a Force of Will in hand. I don't know if he was actually thinking about countering that, but giving Phil reason to think.
What do you like when you're Bug and you're playing against dudes.deck? What do you force? Like a good ninja?
Yeah, I mean that's what you would try to do, but ninjutsu gets around that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like these are all good starters for ninjas because he can just play his ninjas off of them, and
right.
It's an ability, not a spell.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil's actually in pretty good shape here, and obviously Charles can't attack. Like his 1/2 is bad against an 0/2. Who knew, right? Like, what is that about? Wah! Get there.
Getting in with Ozo2.
Yeah, so I mean, really, Charles may already be behind on the Force of Will front. Like he might have wanted to do any of that. So that's Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow, or Tiger's Claw, Tiger Shadow. That is whenever a ninja you control deals the damage, you reveal the top card of your library, and your opponent takes damage equal to its casting cost, and you put the card in your hand.
Which seems nice. Very
Strong.
nice.
Nice.
And the brainstorm.
Are we brainstorming
Man.
before?
Phil was not seen to have a fetch, so that would be walking into brainstorm territory that would worry me.
No, he was, and and Charles mental misstepped the brainstorm there.
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. I think Phil would be super happy about that. Yeah, I think Phil's deck is entirely proxy, which is great. Here, you can do that.
Yeah, we actually,
Encourage it.
I believe we reprinted Phil's deck to have it on stream.
We didn't reprint it. Someone had it.
Oh, okay.
It's the stock list for something. I guess technically I did the editing for Yuriko. That's in C18, right? That was a set I was an editor on. That is the panoramic land, right? So it fetches any basic,
Yes.
puts
yes,
it into
yes.
play. So snow-covered island.
So,
Yeah,
snow.
snow. It won't be long before we'll all be there with
Cast
snow.
melt. Oh.
So Phil kind of looks like he's in the
He's-
driver's seat here.
yeah,
He's
got a lot
gaining
of
card
stuff.
advantage. He has time walk in hand.
Yeah, Time Walk seems really
Super good with ninjas.
really super good right now.
Yeah, I think the ninjas deck I think has a pretty good game against removal. He has a decent amount of creatures
man.
and is just gonna draw cards.
DT.
DT.
Yeah, this is all,
Charles has Force of Will in hand that he's thinking about. I
All
don't know what
kinds of
his
gas.
options are for. I mean, I suppose Phil could get a strip mine or something potentially. I'm sure that's in the deck. That seems good. It should be.
yeah, it's interesting. Like, normally they would say counter what you tutor for, but in this scenario, because I think that's a DT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is. There's a high probability that anything that Phil gets with that is not going to be counterable.
Right. Time walk.
Just crushing it.
So the Deathrite Shamans, they're holding off Yuriko, which is a thing, I guess. That happens.
What's Yuriko's power toughness?
I think she must be a 1-2.
She's a 1-2.
So double Deathrite block. Remember how double blocking works?
No. I'm gonna need a refresher course on that one.
Well, it's just, it can happen.
It's just,
Okay.
valid root counters.
So
Stacking.
Phil played Treasure Cruise there. He's up very many cards right now.
Yeah, this is absurd.
Charles removing mana, spitting out cards everywhere. Tarmogoyf is a blocker. That will block. Block, block, block.
Do you have any flying ninjas in the inventory?
No, but there is the one that can't be attacked,
Yeah.
that can't be
Yeah.
blocked, and then
Ooh, the days.
and then
Ouch.
the Baleful Strix and Ornithopter, obviously they're for getting over things.
Are there no other?
I mean, you can just counter it.
Are there no other lands in the graveyard to Deathrite a second mana?
Nope.
Ouch.
No, because Phil Treasure Cruised his away.
Mm-hmm. Did that?
What?
He attacked with the Baleful Strix and then ninjutsu'd in another Yuriko Tiger Shadow, and Legend ruled the other one out.
Okay.
So he pulled the Baleful Strix back into his hand, drew Black Lotus off of the Yuriko, so dealt no damage but drew Black Lotus, and is going to play Baleful Strix again as a blocker with Death Touch and draw a card. He's drawing a lot of Yurikos right now, which is not ideal, but I mean he'll be able to reuse his Baleful Strix, and it's reasonable. Charles is.
That's game.
It was good enough for Charles anyway.
Yeah.
That's he's going away.
That was a savage beating there. It seemed like Charles never really got anything past those first two death
Yeah, it
rates
was
to stick.
a kind of a weak keep on his part,
Yeah.
I think. But
Like it seems like for
Yeah. I think he mulled
against
once.
any slow start, that double death right could be really effective. But obviously Phil came out of the gate with a lot of
okay, I can update my game score.
men's.
Sorry, that was Starkey.
So
Hey,
right seat.
right
coming
seat
back.
making a comeback.
Yeah.
Phil is turning this around.
It really doesn't matter what the games you lose in the Swiss are if you can win the top 8.
That's right. That's right. I think. Yeah, I think. So we have is it Justin in the chat right now. I think he's the one who developed and/or popularized the ninja list. So he's saying that Bug is a pretty good match for it. I think that's probably right. I think you just have more creatures and are going to draw a bunch more cards.
I think that we've talked about playing a deck like Bug as a fish deck, that your deck generally loses to decks that are named after
After creature types, yes.
And this one is named Ninjas.
That's right. Yeah, we've decided that fish decks lose to decks that are named after creatures. So things like goblins or soldiers or
vampires,
humans, wizards. Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think wizards probably stomps on fish even because wizards just had a ton of creatures.
Yeah. Like pretty much everything in that was a dude.
Elves.
Ugh.
Can't beat elves.
Ugh,
Eldrazi. No. Oh my gosh.
No. Nope.
Constructs. I guess that's a thing now, right?
We're making it one.
Yeah. I think this lamp is dying.
It's not doing much anymore.
It's not doing much.
That's cool.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's fine. So, here we are. Our old standard. We're shuffling up.
And yeah, who likes shuffling? This is our favorite part. It has rapidly become, at least these players are sober.
Does Charles drink?
Not much. Does he drink?
I'm not sure.
No, he's selective. I think he's driving.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I don't think either of these players is drinking
Under the
much.
influence.
Yeah, right. I guess if we ban fetches, then we can get Brainstorm back.
Ooh.
That seems reasonable, right?
Are we going to ban fetches?
That's what they're calling for. We gotta get more bans. More restrictions, more bans.
Ban fetches, unrestrict brainstorm, unrestrict channel.
Yeah.
Do it!
Because you have to ban fetches if you want to get rid of fetches.
And you'd still have 5, 6. You'd still have 6. Well, I mean, you'd have 10. I mean, depending on your colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd still have a bunch.
You'd have a bunch.
4 islands,
Yeah.
4 of each basic type.
Alrighty. Look at this. We're going all the way into game 2.
Oh,
This is
This
fast.
is astounding.
These players are lightning quick.
The rails have been greased. Sliding straight into game 2.
Our rails are greased by my lord.
Ugh.
So Charles obviously opening with
I don't want
a
to think about that.
Mox Sapphire, Underground Sea, Ancestral Recall, target himself.
How do you feel about that?
I think he should target himself.
Not
I am in
players
agreement on that.
We are good at magic strategy. So he again has a Deathrat Shaman starting off. Let's see. Phil has Changeling Outcast. Yeah. Gotta read that one.
Gotta read it.
Is that a jet changeling?
Yes.
I thought it was a blue creature.
No, Changeling Outcast is black.
It's black?
Mm-hmm.
This is tense.
This is a good match. This is where this should be.
Things are getting serious.
Mm-hmm. So Charles definitely playing a control role here. He doesn't have to do anything, so he won't.
Doesn't he have to do anything? It seems like he sort of has to.
I mean,
do
he played a
something.
land, but I mean, like he can't block. It's not like playing a creature helped him here. Like he can't. He can hold up answers and hold up removal and hold up counters. I mean, I would maybe expect the Changeling Outcast to go away. Thanks next to, oh, I don't know, Assassin's Trophy or the Uncounterable one, Abrupt Decay.
That looks like it might be.
Click.
What?
Click. I assume that's why he's showing his hand.
Click.
Vendilion click.
Yeah. I haven't seen click in a long time.
Yeah.
Is
so
that commonly in Bug, or is that?
Seems like a reasonable inclusion. I don't know. So you can't take the land. That's the panorama again. It gets any basic. 2 Yurikos, Vampiric Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Dig Through Time. That's hot. Having
Yeah.
2 Yurikos, great. You know.
Yeah.
Updates from the other two top 8s down here. Checo's 1-0 and Steve is 1. Not Steve. The other one. Cody is a 1-0.
Okay. Yeah. So we have updates from the other games. Jaco is beating not Brassman.
No.
David.
David.
Jaco is up a game on David Lance, and
And then Cody versus Steve.
Cody is
Steve. McGrew. Steve McGrew.
is up.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, and Steve McGrew is up a game over Cody Napier.
What
No,
did
no. Cody's the other way. Sorry.
Oh,
what
yeah.
did
Cody is up
Charles
a
end
game.
up binning there?
I
I know that
I
Phil
didn't-
pulled a days off the top,
Yeah,
but
I didn't see.
cool.
Eh.
Did you put the sippy cup on top?
So he's got
Oh.
unblockable in play anyway. His opponent has a 3-1. He's going to get Yuriko through, and then be able to
Start doing his magic. Ninja magic.
And that, yeah, he'll be able to get another unblockable. So he kept the Yuriko. So he could here Vampiric or Mystical Tutor with the trigger on the stack. Assuming that, let's see, he still has Mystical, so he may have lost the Vampiric. So trigger on the stack. Nope. DT.
Just doing it. DT.
So Phil has a ton of options.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to put another unblockable dude into play.
It's a lot of spice.
Yeah.
Important move in his lids. Water.
Yeah, well, my scotch is scotch and water, so.
So Charles is going to mental misstep the changeling.
It seems pretty
Outcast.
good. It seems like if you can just keep the
Yeah, you have to be able to keep them off the board.
yeah.
Oh,
if you
days. Hello.
If you can keep the basic
Wait.
creatures off the board, you can stop the ninjas in that way. Uh-oh.
Oh.
We are stacking up.
Misdirection.
Misdirect days to misdirection there. So mental misstep now safe. Pitching Flusterstorm.
I don't think that Phil has an answer for that. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I guess he misdirected the days to the
Resolving.
ninja, which makes sense too. So Phil has a creature that now can be blocked by handily by Charles's Deathrite Shaman. So I assume that's what's going to happen unless things change.
It's a face-off.
It is a face-off. This is exciting. Look, we have creature combat.
I know.
Man,
bizarre.
Creatures and vintage?
Ooh. Guess that must be a wasteland.
collector, oof.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. This is turning around here.
Yeah, I think Phil is now in trouble.
Yeah, it seems pretty troubling.
He has returned the land to his hand. He has 1 Mox in play that is shut off. He can't attack through Collector, Oof, and Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman can eat his graveyard at the end of his turn.
Does ninjas have any bigger dudes, or is it just
It's
smaller dudes
mostly small
and
dudes.
evasion?
And Baleful Strix has Death Touch.
Yeah,
which is,
okay.
which is kind of its big dude. And then it can make, if he's playing the list with the retrofitter foundries, then
Oh, he can make some bigger
potentially he
artifacts.
can make big creatures.
But it's mana intensive.
Well, it's also time intensive.
Yeah.
Oh, Foundry's artifact, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it won't work right now.
Yeah, it's shut off.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. Is like he doesn't also have bigger creatures. He does not have large creatures.
It's not he's gonna run him over.
Right.
But he does have a demonic tutor. If only he had the mana
If
to play.
only
to
he could
cast
play it. Yeah, I mean he still has lands in hand, but he's well behind on mana now, and
He could use that mystical tutor to tutor for a mana source.
it's accurate. He could go to Tolarian Academy.
It's really solid.
Yeah.
Someone did that.
Yeah, someone tried it in the top 8 of Vintage Champs.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
Didn't know.
And
It's
it
not-
was dramatic.
Yeah, things happen. It's okay. Don't think it was a thing.
I was meaning it to be a joke. I didn't mean to open up old wounds.
It's not you. It's not you, it's the community. So, we have mana being tapped. Things are happening. What's going on here? Oh,
Tap some mana. Cast some spells.
Mystical tutor for Falling of the Week.
yeah. Okay. So Phil is taking damage now from the Deathrite Shaman. He's getting
We're getting to that point in the game.
he's getting beat pretty well. That's 5 damage a turn. I just don't see this going well for Phil. He's really gotta come back.
What is that just got... Oh, that's the panorama?
That's the Panorama land.
Okay.
That's the fetch land for any basic. Comes into play untapped. It's a nice card. Also Modern Horizons. That set just filled with good stuff. Who knew?
Who would have worked on that set? Fill it up with good stuff.
That set was amazing.
I get the feeling that that's the kind of set that is really fun to work on
Mm-hmm.
because of
14 to 4,
everything about it.
Charles right now.
Yeah, I figured Charles is way up. Yeah.
Yep, that's game.
So, going to game 3.
That was definitely showing off how things can work in the other seat taking
Yeah.
command of the game.
Charles had a good start there and was able to. I mean, obviously the unblockable ninja enablers are key in this matchup, and he
Yeah.
was able to keep him off the board. He does have blockers enough for Yuriko, which is big here.
Could use a flying carpet.
Could use a flying carpet. So Phil will be back on the play. I think he's making a few more changes to his sideboard options. Thanks everyone for watching. We're at the Hazard Series Invitational number 5 in Columbus, Ohio. You're listening to me, Nat Mose, and
Me, Jeff Mose.
and Jeff Mose.
Update from the other two, they're both on game 3s.
Excellent.
Other top 8 matches going to game 3.
How's Andy doing?
I don't know, he's upstairs, so.
He's
It's his problem. We don't go upstairs.
Yeah.
They won't let us upstairs.
Basement
we
dwellers.
we have been in this
I-
basement for 6 hours.
I can destroy people upstairs if you'd like me to do that.
No, it's alright.
I was been running.
So, do we know what our overall meta game was for the tournament?
No. I bet it was great.
I know that Joe was hoping to get
We-
some facts about this, and I'm just like, what all was here?
That's a thing we could find
One
out.
and ceiling.
We had a bunch of, I know we had what, 3, 4, 5 paradoxical decks.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
We had a few.
Snoop
Let's
was
see.
on.
Tribal was playing a box of decks, so he had 6. We had a couple people playing survival, including Brassman and David Lance.
I think survival needs a better name when it doesn't have survival. in it.
Survival is survival. I mean, it's bizarre aggro, right?
Twan was on
I will say
Name a Card.
Tuan was on Name a Card, Stoneforge Mystic.
That guy
Demonic
with
Tutor.
splashing
Or-
just for blue, just for
Yeah.
mage.
Josh Chappell was on Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation combo. Divining Witch combo.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Ben Ravel is here. He learned about Thassa's Oracle and Divining Witch.
Yeah.
Ben,
alcohol.
Ben was on Dark Petition Storm.
Shocker.
What else? Who else was here?
I was on Ceiling.
Yeah.
Did we? Was Dwayne the only shops?
Yes.
Dwayne was the only shop?
Interesting.
No, was
No,
playing
that's-
shops too.
Nam was playing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Dwayne and Nam was probably playing a regular.
Yeah.
Shops.
He was
Expected
playing
build
his
of
normal-
shops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his normal build of shops.
Yeah.
The aggro.
We had Burn.
So who in the final eight? What is everybody playing?
I don't even know.
I don't know what Steve's playing.
We saw Steve play.
Steve is playing PO.
Yeah, Steve's on PO.
He's been
I wasn't paying
that's
attention.
that's a PO matchup.
He's on
That's
PO
that's
for
PO.
a couple of
Pew pew.
Pew pew.
So, about to get Game 3 started here. Still Charles Rolka on your left with Bug and Phil Kwan on your right with Ninjas.
Man, when they start switching seats, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, game is tied at game apiece, and Phil will be on the play here, having lost Game 2. We saw last game that Charles was able to win when he was able to keep the Ninja Enablers off the board, in that case being Changeling Outcast. Phil won Game 1 pretty easily with a lot of extra card advantage, thanks to being able to get his ninjas through Charles's defenses. Does Phil's hand not have a lot of land?
I'm gonna just go with a 50-50 answer and say no. I don't think it does.
I think he's keeping. So he's got he has Ornithopter, he has Snow-Colored Island, he has Mystical Tutor, Baleful Strix, Yuriko. How many cards is that? Like 5, 6?
It's definitely some cards.
Phil doesn't know what to do. There is anguish.
The pressure is on.
The pressure is on.
Oop.
Oh,
He
I
must
hope
be
he's
going
mulliganing
back.
because otherwise he's cheating.
Otherwise, that is a game loss.
He pondered his.
I think that was the right.
Just the way
I think that was the right decision. He only had the one snow-covered island for mana, as
That
far as I can
seems
see.
real sketch,
Yeah, I mean,
especially on the play.
I don't think you can keep one mana because none of your ninjas cost one mana.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do anything with that. Yeah, it's like you'd have to have like ancestral in hand and some backup or something like that. Like I think he can't keep that.
Yeah, if he was running top or something.
Yeah, so he's gonna go to
Top of tier
6.
game.
Looks like Charles is gonna keep 7. I'm not sure.
He must be at this point.
I would expect so.
I see a brainstorm.
Yeah, Phil has brainstorm. Looks like a couple lands.
Rocco's going to 7.
What?
Charles also going to 6.
Going to 6.
Wow, interesting.
Next time, try and resolve your mulligans at the same time.
Yeah,
Guys.
that's why I figured that Charles was in.
Phil also has the Changeling Outcast in his hand. That's a land. Brainstorm.
That seems like a solid opener.
I think that's probably good. I mean, it really kind of just depends on if he has another land or two. I can't see them well enough, but I think that's what he's going to be looking for. And again, it's really just, can he get in and can he draw some extra cards and try and get ahead of his opponent that way? Hopefully Yuriko reveals some big cards, but
Does he have big cards to reveal to that though?
Forces.
Just force?
Yeah, I mean Yuriko's a 3, I think. The other one's a 4. The Ingenious Infiltrator is a 4.
Jaco one?
Jaco 1 2 1.
Well,
So Jason Jaco will be moving on to top 4. One of our valiant competitors here is going to move on to top 4.
His third.
Jaco?
TSI?
Yeah. Spending a while doing these mulligans, but that's alright.
we're flipping cards back and forth.
I think they should just exchange hands.
Do you do that?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
That's an audible click.
But
So Charles has opened with Wasteland, which is interesting because Phil's deck seems like it's filled with basics.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen nothing but basics.
yeah, and especially showing the Wasteland initially, like
Yeah.
obviously he's gonna be running out nothing but basics.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if you don't have anything to play, sure, Wasteland is
I
fine.
guess, but that's
different.
Yeah.
that's a unfortunate first land if that's
So
your
Phil's gonna
best thing to run out.
attempt Brainstorm here, which is interesting. I think he's got a. So he has a Underground Sea,
Force of Will.
Force of Will, and Ornithopter in that 3.
Does he have another fetch though?
I don't know. It doesn't look like it.
Ugh, that's the worst.
So I mean, you're gonna lose that. And you have to keep the land, right? Because you can play the Ornithopter now, play the land next turn to not get it wastelanded. But his opponent can wasteland it before attacks. Like, it's not a great situation. And obviously he knows what he's going to draw.
Third?
Yeah. No, sir, I don't like it.
No.
These both of them are definitely mana type.
Yeah, right.
Charles is looking real sour here.
Ch-
he's
Cha-
he didn't draw
Charles is worried about the.
He didn't draw anything.
Well, Charles has an Underground Sea in hand. Like he's bluffing. Oh no, he's playing it. Okay,
All right.
and he's got Ancestral. He's fine.
Yeah.
I am not even worried about Charles. Whatever.
Ah, force and force back over Ancestral.
This is classic vintage,
Oh,
I guess.
Oh. So you lost 3
Do you
cards
force
and
Ancestral
gained
there?
3 cards. All right, +0.
I don't know.
I hate forcing Ancestral.
It's a hard thing because like you don't. None of his creatures are good. Like,
That's fair. Like,
it's-
if you don't force that, what are you gonna force?
In this creature versus creature matchup, Ancestral is your opponent's best card because it finds them more creatures.
That's fair. That is fair.
So he's going to attack with Ornithopter, and Charles should wasteland him before damage. Oh, or just blow up the Ornithopter. Whatever, man.
Oof.
Did we get Fossa Vigid?
I think we did. Now there's the waste.
Yeah.
And we are going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, he can float mana. Yeah.
We are going nowhere. All right.
Phil
Back to
have-
square one.
Why can Phil not float mana?
Did he not have anything to play?
I guess he could do it during. Charles could destroy the. Charles probably destroyed the thing during.
response to attacks.
He would have done it in attack in the combat phase.
And then lost to doing that to
Yeah.
blow up the waste.
Phil has a land now.
At 4?
Yeah, that Tarmogoyf is pretty beefy right now. Yeah, Charles again keeping the ninjutsu enablers off the board, so that's going to be tough. Tarmogoyf should be pretty good at getting things.
Oh.
Getting pretty good at getting damage through. Phil now has Changeling Outcast, so it will be unblockable. Unfortunately, he's also getting erased by a 4/5. Oh. And Tabernacle.
Oh.
So
Well-
Phil is going to pay for his creature and then desperately needs to draw mana. So that he can still ninjutsu it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely in this case.
So, but the interesting
Charles can
thing is
afford to-
Charles is going to pay for his Tarmogoyfs.
He's
and,
blocking himself off from any further spells, but man, he's got 2 4/5s on the board.
Yeah, right, exactly. So Phil, I mean, I assume Phil,
Charles at 18.
yeah, Phil should pay for
It
the
was,
thing and
Tabernacle.
pray, pay and pray.
Yeah, I think that's what he's got to do. He's got no other outs. Like, losing the creature is just worse.
He did not draw a land. Ponder.
There are no lands in that.
So he's got, yeah, he's had some ornithopters on top there, but that's not going to do it. He's got to shuffle. Phil is pretty far behind as far as like damage. I think he could get back into this if he gets a good series of cards, but he's very far behind. Like,
Yeah, I got a sapphire. That's what he needed.
yeah. Punch you in the face. So
Right.
Phil hoping that Charles goes straight through his upkeep and into attacks.
Wait, what just happened there?
He did not tap. He just tapped.
Yeah, he
to,
made.
and
So
he
Phil
pay.
did not pay for the Changeling Outcast. He is dead on board, or is he?
So basically, is that what 3? Phil's at 3.
Yeah, Phil's
I'm
way
pretty
low
sure
on life.
he's just dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's
Well,
anything.
so Changeling Outcast can't block either.
Right.
So it's not like that's
Sure.
helping him, but
Yeah.
that's dig through time,
Oh, okay. Well.
and that's a counter spell. Or no, it's brainstorm. Looks like brainstorm. It's Professor X.
Yep.
Of
Brainstorming
course. Of course.
in Cerebro.
Well, if there's anything that's gonna pull him out of this,
It's dig through time.
it could be dig through time.
So
Like,
he's got to get like Black Lotus and.
dig through time is
Land
redonkulous.
Hurdle's Recall. Or not. Land's Echoing Truth.
Yeah. Yeah, Echoing Truth is good. Well, he also gets the Tarmogoyf smaller, but I don't think that's small enough. And especially assuming he's going to continue playing things.
Yeah. Ugh. He's just not a good place to be.
Phil has spent a lot of material to keep his creatures on board, and it's not working out.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Uh-oh.
Looking not so great so far.
That was already exiled. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 4, 5, 6, 7.
But that last one was Lotus, wasn't it? Nope,
Underground
it was
Sea.
an Underground Sea.
So Porcelain 2.
Yep. This is not looking good
Well,
enough.
so he's got Baleful Strix, so he can play and block. I don't know if that's good enough. If he's at 3, he's still
In a
dead,
bad way.
dead to good Tarmogoyf play. Like, I don't know. And Baleful Strix makes Tarmogoyf a lot bigger. Like, I assume he keeps Baleful Strix and something.
Believe in the heart of the cards.
Yeah.
It's a land or
It's the right seat curse.
Oh yeah, it's got to be the land of the Baleful Strix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
there we
is-
go.
That's what it is.
We're doing it.
Rogard.
That's Strip Mine in Phil's hand, or in Charles's hand. That's good for him.
First voice.
Got another land.
Hurricane for 1.
He's got to attack. I mean, if you attack here, your other Tarmogoyf grows by 2, and you have to pay less mana. But then Phil also has to pay less mana. But obviously, you attack.
Confrontation. Or Wasteland.
He now has 2 land removal in his hand because yeah.
Anyway, Strip Mine, so bam bam.
Yeah. Gross.
That's pretty savage.
Charles, you disgusting human.
That's gonna make the other thing a 4/4,
Yeah,
4/5.
it's a 4. I mean, he's not going to take the damage at that, but it's still big.
Should be 4, right? Nope.
Yep, that's the end of it. So Charles won that one
Charles takes it home.
pretty well.
Bug manages to get out on top.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Left seat.
a lot of scrabbling there from
Yeah.
from Phil. But an interesting match. There were lots of things that I didn't realize would be the important things.
What did you think would be the important things?
ninjas, and instead it was
I
things
mean-
that were not ninjas.
Yeah, ninjas were important. The fact that they were kept off the board was very important.
Yeah, right. So let's see.
Update from the other one, Steve 121.
So we're gonna move on to top four. Who's the top four?
Steve, Jaco, Charles, and whoever
Oh.
the one brass band match. Upstairs.
Steve, Charles. Wait, Charles Napier, and Charles Rolko. Both Charles?
Both Charles.
No, Charles
No.
Rocco.
Oh,
Steve McGrew
And
beat.
then whoever won upstairs, because it's upstairs.
okay. And we don't know who went upstairs.
No.
Ah.
I bet
Do
Andy
we
has
go
tweeted it.
upstairs?
I hope Andy has tweeted it too.
Andy has not tweeted.
He must be losing.
Or still a match.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Got a good dude slugging match.
Dude slugging match.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Is what bitch does become? Just dudes. Dudes what's?
Let's see. So, let's see how we're doing here.
How are we doing here?
How are we doing here? I'm gonna switch us back.